Boom! Welcome to a special bonus episode of Nobody Watching. There is a lot going on in the world these days, and while I tossed the idea of talking about the election back and forth for a while, it seems short-sighted not to take a moment to discuss one of the biggest elections in the history of the United States, at least in my lifetime, and probably yours too. Yes, it might be divisive, but how can we justify spending 3 or 4 minutes talking about the innovations in the world of battery-operated self-warming socks and not acknowledge something so important as choosing the leader of the free world and all the related consequences under such unique circumstances? If you haven't clicked away yet, I'm not even going to try to pretend that I'm coming at this from an impartial, unbiased perspective. What we had was not working, and it was becoming a toxic relationship. It had to end, but that's about all the celebrating I'm going to do because the road ahead of us is long and there is so much work to be done. I'm not a big fan of either major party because in their ongoing and eternal quest for power and control, they seem to have forgotten that they work for us. I blame us for that. We should demand better. But all that aside, here we are. The election is over and now we need to move forward. The thing is that each one of us has within ourselves the power to make this so much more complicated, difficult, and painful than it needs to be. On October 15, 1973, the CBS Broadcasting Network aired an animated musical television special called Dr. Seuss on the Loose, based on the stories of Theodore Seuss Geisel, or Dr. Seuss as we know him. This delightful collection of stories seems to have burrowed deep into the fiber of my being, so much so that when I consider the 2020 election cycle and all that goes with it, these stories and their lessons they teach come to the forefront of my mind. Let's take a peek at two in particular, the righteous modern fable of the Sneetches and the insightful, reflective, and yet forward-looking tale of the Zacks. In the Sneetches, we see a group of beings so self-obsessed with their sense of superiority over others of the same ilk, the only difference being the stars on their bellies, that it is virtually impossible for them to see and embrace the potential that comes with acceptance and unity. That is until Sylvester McMonkey McBean comes to town, sees what's what, and takes them all for what they are worth. In the story of the Zacks, we see two stubborn fellows who end up blocking each other's way while each is on their path to their plan's destination. Pride, stubbornness, and basic pig-headed ignorance prevents them from being remotely open to the idea of making even minor adjustments that would work each to their own mutual and individual benefit. Unfortunately, we see that the rest of the world has little interest in their petty squabbles and self-righteousness and decides to move on without them. Good lessons, and that is where we sit today, a nation of Sneetches acting like Zacks. I suppose there is a third type. You've seen them, the ones hell-bent on making this harder no matter the circumstances because they are deeply set, head in the ground, stubborn, resistant to peace, harmony, insight, change, education, facts, progress, common sense, and whatever else. And these folks exist on both sides, but I don't think Dr. Seuss has a story for them, except for maybe Yertle the Turtle. If you have ever seen this collection of stories, I believe the books and videos should be required fare for anyone who breathes. Combined with the story of the Lorax, which CBS originally aired on February 14, 1972, you have pretty much all the foundational moral inspiration and guidance you need for virtually any situation. And in very simple yet illustrative and applicable terms, you should be able to find where you are in all of this and what you need to do to make things better. This election is over. Division and social unrest make for a weak society. Being so entrenched in petty bickering prevents us all from being the lofty and amazing things that we could truly aspire to be. But it seems we just won't allow ourselves the freedom to be better, smarter beings. So in the days, weeks, and months ahead, get you some Seuss. Settle your mind about the election. Pack up the hate, the vitriol, the indifference. Tear down the walls of obstinance. Roll up your sleeves and let's get busy. Be a better Sneetch. Be a smarter Zacks. Most importantly, don't be a Yertle. We'll see you next time.